Well, hello everybody, and this time we are back on track with the speedrun tournament for Subspace Emissary. The tournament for Subspace Emissary speedruns. This is the first round. We have a match between Techstrobe and DiegolazoR4, and I am just and I'm going to be your commentator today. Of course, once more, with feeling. Once more, I'm here to start commentating on this amazing match. This is the first round of the tournament. We have some of the best players of the game, which is actually a very speedrun game at the moment, which is weird. But anyways, we started and we are going to begin with choosing our character for the first battle for the stadium here. You see, Subspace Emissary is a kind of collection of stages that mix up fighting game mechanics that come from Super Smash Bros. And platforming stages where you use the abilities of the characters from Super Smash Bros. And we are beginning with the fight of Mario and Kirby, which is a common fight on the idea that, well, it's literally a fight of Super Smash Bros. We are going to use Kirby ability heal here to just throw ourselves out of the stage and hopefully defeat Mario with that. Then we have this little fight where we have to beat an horde of enemies. These guys are called the Primates, and we are going to see them a lot during the run. So be prepared to see a lot of Primates. Anyways, Diego and Tech here are going to use Kirby's abilities to their advantage to defeat as much enemies as they possibly can. And of course, RNG here is going to be very interesting because items on the game are completely RNG. So for example, we saw there Tech finding a hammer, which practically made him easier to defeat most of the enemies on the stage, while Diego didn't have that much luck. We have here the first boss of the game, which is the battle against Piri Piranha, and we are going to hit the Zelda cage because we want to have Zelda, or at least Chick, for a stage we have to play next. Diego just finishing with the Horde, doing a down there, and Tech just finishing with the stadium and entering Skyward, where we're going to use Speed, which Speed has one of the most interesting mechanics for Super Smash Bros., especially for the speedrun, which is a mechanic that only appeared in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and I'm not talking about the worst mechanic ever. We're not talking about tripping, we're talking about gliding. Gliding is a mechanic where if the character is high enough and it has wings, you can kind of fly in a very difficult to control manner, which is pretty fast, and that's something that Tech is going to use a lot with both Pete and later Meta Knight. Gliding is pretty fast. It's amazingly fast. So here we have both of them playing on a Skyward right now. Skyward is a pretty easy level, just a little bit of platforming and then a little bit of fighting, which is something that we're going to see be repeated during the stage. Of course, we're going to use Speed even after we get the choice of using Mario, and we have seen now the first skip of the game. Tech has used the abilities of Flight, of Speed, to actually go over the top of a trigger of a fight. That way, he completely skipped that fight. Tech is now using Chick to go to this stage. Chick is actually a very fast character, so we want to use her. Meanwhile, Diego is going to the second part of Skyward, and Tech is going to choose Zelda again, transform into Chick as soon as he can, and just go around the stage using the abilities of Chick to defeat enemies or just run around the stage. So let's see if Diego tries to go for the skip here, for the Skyward skip. You kind of have only one chance to skip like this because you have to go over the hitbox that triggers the fight, and if you don't, well, you have to fight the enemy. Well, Diego didn't even try it, so he's going to fight this bunch of enemies, while Tech is going to the second part of the Sea of Blood. The main reason why we are using Chick here is because Chick actually is pretty fast to defeat these enemies, or this bunch of enemies that are completely obligatory, like a beat 'em up, where we are just stopping our tracks and we have to defeat that bunch of enemies. Diego is finishing right now with Skyward and doing pretty great, actually. Well, Tech is running around these rocks. He kind of can enter most of the rock. The rock only has hitbox when it's falling, so no problem. And completely destroyed that enemy there. I don't remember the name of that enemy. Every character, every enemy has a name here. It's funny. Tech choosing Donkey Kong. Oh, I guess with a Mushroom, Donkey Kong is actually pretty fast. So here we have the jungle. This is a stage that is a complete homage to the Donkey Kong Country series of games, the old ones, of course. And well, Diego is using rolls to move quickly. Tech is going to use their a hit there to get to this point. This stage is pretty straightforward. Just move to the right, defeat enemies. Here, Tech can use something to actually make the fight go a little bit quicker. Good job with that fight. Diego entering the second part of the Sea of Clouds. Let's see how well he does with the fights here. Good. Nice first hit. Here we have the first of many auto-scrollers. This game has a ton of auto-scrollers. So yeah, we're going to see one of the many auto-scrollers here. Tech is literally not going to do anything about the characters just dying there. In this auto-scroller in particular, you can do practically whatever you want, unless to the end, at least to the end. Now in the end, of course, he has to, just jump over there. They go finishing Sea of Clouds. And here we are with the door. You don't need to be... The door doesn't need to be on the screen for you to access it. So you can actually enter it sooner. We want to be Donkey Kong here because we want to defeat those both of those giant Goombas with just a bunch of headbutts. And there we go. Tech has defeated the first stage of the jungle. Here we're going to use speed again, for obvious reasons. As I said before, gliding is a very important mechanic for this game. We're going to see Tech using the gliding to get over that area of blocks that you need to break using attacks, and that's a very clean flight for Tech there. Wow. He's doing another glide right now to get to this spot. They are fighting this bunch of enemies. And here we have another auto-scroller. This part is 2 auto-scrollers and 3 fights. So Tech is going to change to Mario, which is much better at defeating enemies than Pete. Pete is very good for speed, but Mario is much better for fights. Nice fight with the fire primids there. Those fire primids can be very difficult to handle. Nice timing by Tech there to defeat that bunch of enemies. Good work. And we have the last fight we need to do here. Tech is going to use a mushroom that he got to hit harder. When you're giant, you actually hit harder, so that's a very good thing. And there we go. That was the plains stage. Very quick stage, to be honest. So here we have the second boss via on Tech screen, which is the fight against Rayquaza. Rayquaza, it's a very interesting fight. He has a ton of movements. He has a ton of things he can do. We don't want him flying nor burning underground, which are two very, very hard possibilities. And there we go with Tech. He killed him quick enough to not let Rayquaza fly again. Rayquaza can fly up to 3 times and burrow underground at least 5 if I'm not mistaken. That makes it very, very difficult to handle. They went in the plains while Tech has defeated Rayquaza and is now doing this kind of a puzzle where you have to go in and out of doors to change the environment and get yourself some and get yourself to the end of the stage. So Tech is going to buffer here and upper to break those blocks. We don't want to use ladders that are very slow, so Tech's not going to use any of them. And Diego is just running around in being Mario. Diego chooses to be Mario. You can choose what character you are going to use during the whole run. So you can use Mario for most of the run. Of course, the thing is, Mario is slower if you don't know how to glide, and gliding is actually pretty difficult. Doesn't seem like it, because it's just, gliding, but gliding can be pretty hard to manage. So Tech is just an amazing player. He can just go gliding all the way. Tech is going to use a laser here, which is actually pretty difficult to hit. There we go. That's the laser. Diego grabbing one of those, a fire flower. He got hit there by an explosion, thanks to the fact that the explosive crate can be triggered instantly by any fire attack in the game, and a hit from the fire flower counts as a fire attack. We have another auto-scroller on Tech screen where we can just do whatever we want. And Diego's just finishing the next fight on the series of fights that we have to do at the end of Plains. Only one fight left for Diego, while Tech is finishing the auto-scroller there. Fun fact about those bullet bills, we can actually hit them with the reflector and reflect them. They are projectiles. They are enemies and they are also projectiles. You can reflect them with any kind of reflector in the game. Take a sign to the vote there. Choosing Didi. And here we have Diego fighting with Rayquaza now. Or Rayquaza. Or Rayquaza. Or whatever you want to call him. And there we go. Diego just fighting Rayquaza. Let's see if Rayquaza can goes nice with Diego. We don't see flying. And he started flying. Comendito scores satisfied. And it's not the easy and it's not the good. Oh, okay. That was very fast. Rayquaza can burrow up to 5 times. We don't want that. And here we have one of the worst fights in the game. Speedrun wise, it's very, very difficult to actually do it right. Tech just did it amazingly there. But Bowser can be pretty annoying after some time. He can really get annoying. Like, he can jump all over the place, he can refuse to die. That was a pretty good fight by Tech. Here we have another auto-scroller. This auto-scroller is actually different because we have to do stuff to not die. But that stuff is not really that much. We just have to go to the stage while escaping this statue. We don't really have any other option here. We just have to go. There is a strat where you can get behind the statue and just walk slowly, and you are practically at the same pace of the statue, and you are not going to die anytime soon, and you only need to wait. But of course, that's the thing, it's an auto-scroller, you have to wait. Diego going up there, taking the ladder, which is not the best option, but it's an option. Fox's SSBB is not really that good for movement. If you want to use a Fox special for movement, you use the side V, which is much better. Nice picky fire there. We have to press some buttons here and there. It's an autoscroller that requires us to do more things than just stay around and do nothing. You can have fun too. You can just harass the statue and do dumb things. You don't really have any other options here. You have to wait for the statue to finish getting to the end. Diego getting to the button. Let's see if he's going to use let's see if he's going to use. Okay, he's not going to use the laser. He's going to go for the safe strat, which is getting up there with an AP. And here we're going to choose Lucas again for the fight with Porky. Porky means here can be a pretty annoying boss. He can be easy to defeat or very, very hard to defeat. It all depends on that he has a ton of attacks that keeps us away from him and hit very hard. And there we go, that was Porky. That was a very clean fight. Meanwhile, Diego is in the auto-scroller here, and Tech has defeated Porky, which lets him go with Pokemon Trainer to the next stage, and we are not going to use him, we're going to use Lucas here, which is the best movement possible in this part. The Ruined Saw is not really that difficult to manage. There is a skip that we can do later, but it doesn't really save that much time. It's much better to just do the fight. It's harder to do the skip than to do the fight, and it doesn't really save that much. Especially in a tournament sense. Good work there. What Tech did there was luring the ghost, which I don't remember the name, the ghost to the spikes, so he can make him, so he can kill him using the damage that the spikes deal instead of using normal attacks. So here we're going to see another very annoying fight, which is the fight against these enemies that can be pretty annoying. These enemies can be pretty annoying. You see that Tech has paused. That is a glitch / trick that uses the pause mechanics of the game to not make the screen go, to not lock the screen, so he can fight a little further. Here's the part where you can do that skip that I told before. The chickens, which are the enemies that look like chicken, those can be pretty difficult to fight. And here we go with Diego with the Ruined Zoo. Diego needs to do the auto-scroller still and the fight with Porky, so let's see how that goes. Let's go to the Battlefield Fortress. The Battlefield Fortress is a stage which has a ton of skips. It has 2 auto-scrollers and 3 fights that are kind of mandatory that we can skip by using Meta Knight's ability to glide, which can actually put him really high up the sky, and we want to be that high to be out of the reach of the triggers for those fights. This skip is pretty complicated. I do think that Tech is going to go for it because Tech is pretty good at the game. He's the current world record for the category, so he's probably going to go for the skip, while DiegolazoR is just running around here, escaping the statue. So yeah, the first part is not really skippable. You have to move here. Mart is obligatory for the first part of the stage, and there is a fight later we have to do. And this fight can go different ways depending on the character you choose. Here we're going to see Tech choosing Mart, because Mart, by hitting with the tip, can actually do a ton of damage, especially to lower end enemies. So he can kill pretty fast all of these enemies. The only problem here is that Tech needs to defeat the last enemy and at the same time die, and that way he can be Meta Knight for the next part, and he needs to be Meta Knight for the next part. He doesn't really have any other option. Okay, here we're going to see Diego's fighting with Porky. Let's see how that goes. And Tech did it amazingly there. What Tech did was hitting the enemy that was in the platform, falling at the same time, and dying right before the enemy hit the ground. That way, when he finished that part of the stage, and also started playing with Meta Knight here. So here's the first skip that I talk about. What Tech did was flying over the trigger for the first fight. That led him into the second fight. And when you are in the second fight and move back to the first fight, the triggers overlap and you get out of both fights. Here we're going to see something similar, with Tech getting out of getting out of a fight, getting in a fight again, getting out of the fight again here. Very nice. That was an amazing skip of Battlefield 4 skips for Tech there. Those were pretty good. He practically skipped like 5 fights, was amazing. That's one of the biggest time saves of the run, the skips you can do here and in the subspace later. So we're going to see pretty good skips during the run. At high level, this run becomes pretty amazing. It's a very fun run too. I mean, a lot of people just see Smash Bros as a meme, as a speed game, because well, it's Smash Brothers. We don't really see Smash Brothers as a speed game. But Subspace Emissary is amazingly optimized right now. It's a very good speed game. And we have this tournament to actually showcase that. So here we are going to find Ike. And we are going to use again Meta Knight, which we are going to use the gliding mechanic again to fly over the trigger for the last fight of the stage and finish the stage without having to fight practically anyone. That was a very clean Battlefield Fortress for Tech. I have to say that was a pretty clean Battlefield Fortress. Here we have the forest. The forest we're going to use Yoshi, which is an actually pretty fast character, especially using the side B. Subspace Emissary was indeed a very good mode and one of the best parts of Brawl for a lot of people. And sadly, the mode hasn't been reused for another entry because the mode did cost a ton of money and didn't really work the way the developers wanted, with people posting the screenshots online and stuff like that. And you know, even I have to say that the Subspace sadly doesn't have the credit it deserves. It's a pretty good mode, but a lot of people just completely forget the stages, the fights. They mostly remember the cutscenes. It was one of the first times we saw a ton of video game characters from different media just going around doing things in a setting. And anyways, Diego is finishing with the Rinso, with Rinsu. And Tech is fighting the third fight in the forest. Yoshi is a pretty good character for both running and fighting enemies. We don't want to be Link here by any means. Link is a extremely slow character. He is slow in movement, he's slow fighting. He has projectiles, but we don't need projectiles. We need speed. And Yoshi gives us exactly that. Very good speed. Diego going through the beginning of Battlefield Fortress. Let's see how that goes for him. He is about to start the fight where he has to defeat a bunch of enemies. Let's see what he does here. I always remember the arena where you fight Bowser as DDD, the one that had the Death Master hand on the background. I really wish that arena was a playable stage. I love the setting of that stage. So here we have the research facility. This is one of the stages that kind of kind of give an homage to Metroid. At least the first and second one have this kind of a style where you have to go through one place and then you have to go back, like in a Metroid game, which is actually intentional as you play as Samus during these stages. Of course, we're not going to choose Samus, we're going to choose Pikachu because Pikachu is much faster than Samus. Zero Suit Samus, I mean. And yeah, Zero Suit Samus and Pikachu was such a great pair. I would have loved if they did more with them. So here we're going to use a little technique. We are supposed to grab another key from the right side and get there and get up there, open a door, and then push the button. But you can actually push the button with Pikachu's Thunder, which is his Town B. Diego is using Meta Knight during the fight. He is doing a strat which is a lot safer. Instead of, you know, fighting with Mart and then and then dying while you kill the last enemy, he decided to go only with Meta Knight during the fight. Meta Knight is not a bad fighter, but Mart is much better. The tip of Mart attacks is just good. Here we have a little status kernel. We kind of need to wait for this platform to go to the end. And here we're going to find some enemies that appear on the app. Oh, that was a very nice timing by Tech there. Those enemies appear off screen, and Tech just defeated both as they spawn. Ah, we can see that Diego is here doing the fights that Tech previously skipped. So yeah, most of, if Diego doesn't try to do the second part of the skip here, we're probably going to see all of the fights that you have to do in that stage. Meanwhile, Tech is just going around. This is the last part of the stage. We have these bombs which are pretty annoying, especially because they have a hitbox that is not what it looks like, and they immediately explode. And these metal primids are awful because they have a ton of health, and they seem to have some kind of resistance to electric attacks. I never really understood that, but it seems that they do have a resistance to electric attacks. So if you try to hit them with Thunder, for example, you won't damage them that much. And Pikachu and both, seriously, Samus and Pikachu both have a ton of electric attacks. Here we have one of the other parts of awful RNG. We have to defeat Shadow Zelda here, which can be pretty annoying as it's completely RNG what she does. And we want to grab her, throw her back, and then just using smash attacks to defeat her as fast as possible. We have a stage with a walk-off, which is practically made for things like this, but the thing is, the AI doesn't really get near the blast zone as much as we want, and we have to do this twice because first we have to do it with the Shadow version of the princess we rescued, and then we have to do it with the enemies. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's keep going, and we are going to see Tech doing more gliding here. Gliding is pretty good, and here we have the last part of the Battlefield Fortress, where we are going to use this kind of, you know, minecarts, like in Donkey Kong Country. Just get to the end quickly. The adventure mode of this game actually had a ton of grab a ton of things from other Nintendo games, from platformers, especially Kirby's Superstar and Donkey Kong Country. I really like those. And I mean, whenever you see Super Smash Bros. being kind of a platformer, you can obviously see the Kirby inspiration that it receives. Tech is having a pretty good run right now, and Diego is just finishing the Battlefield Fortress. Those enemies with big lips, those are pretty annoying. Diego got hit with bad RNG there, with the bomb appearing right where he was looking while having active Curry. This part is another auto-scroller in the game. As I said before, this game has a bunch of auto-scrollers that we cannot skip. We can skip some auto-scrollers actually. There are a bunch of auto-scrollers we can skip, but there are a bunch that we cannot by any means skip. Even if we tried, even if we got up, I've tried it before. You can actually go up the hitbox for some of those autoscrollers, but if you try, you will actually be locked in the space until you actually trigger the autoscroller. You cannot go forwards, and if you try, you're going to die. Diego's entering the forest right now. Very nice timing there with the down B for Yoshi. That ground pound the ground pound can go pretty fast down. Yoshi is one of the characters that we're mostly going to use. The other ones obviously being Meta Knight, and Meta Knight is broken even in the story mode in this game. It's fun. But yeah, Yoshi is probably the character that we're going to mostly use in these scenes where they let us choose between 5 characters, which are Mario, Link, Kirby, Pete, and Yoshi. These stages are both pretty straightforward. Just go to the end as fast as possible while fighting the enemies quickly. Some enemies can be very annoying though. And here we are at the end of the stage for Tech. Diego, meanwhile, is just fighting a bunch of enemies. That was the cinematic that we learned that the bad guy of the game is Ganondorf, which is controlling Bowser. And he provided the guns for the other enemies. Here we're going to see Tech using some damage. Okay, Tech got it. There is a fight there. You can skip it by pretty much just jumping with Lucas in a very specific way and using the up B of Lucas up B pretty good. That skip is actually very difficult. But yeah, as I said before, most fights have triggers, and those triggers don't really cover that much of space. So if you have a means to go over the top of the trigger, you are going to skip it. Take on the path to the ruins, which is the kind of side quest that we have to do of Pokemon Trainer and Lucas going to the ruins to let Pokemon Trainer catch some other Pokemon to use in the story, especially in the fight, while Lucas is helping him because he needs someone to help him recover Ness, which died protecting Lucas from Wario. Their Tech had a trip. You see, Super Smash Bros. Brawl was infamous for one mechanic and one mechanic only, and that one mechanic was probably one of the biggest mistakes you can add to any kind of video game, which is tripping. Random tripping was something in this game. Every time you start to dash, you have a slight chance of tripping, and tripping leaves your character in a defenseless state for up to 2 seconds. But those 2 seconds can be pretty important. In fact, for Techstrobe right now, it actually meant he couldn't defeat the Nagagog before it started growing. And the Nagagog is a very difficult enemy to actually do quickly, because if you let him grow, it will grow up to the last phase, and that takes time because while he's growing, it's completely invulnerable. And in the entrance to the ruins, we can see that the Wario is being protected. So here, Lucas is going to grab Wario and throw him back. Diego, meanwhile, is going through the research facility with Pikachu. There it is. Wario, as with other fights of the same being, is completely RNG. How they move, how they attack. So we want to have good timing for grabbing them and throwing them. Okay, this is the cape. This stage has a ton of traps, which, in a casual sense, the first time you play the game, they can catch you off guard. But for a speedrunner like Tech, they are not a problem. Diego is a little far behind for mainly difference on skill, and Diego didn't do some skips that Tech did in Battlefield Fortress. You see, this is the first round of the tournament, so it's a seeded tournament, and Tech is the current world record of the game, so you can imagine some things. That doesn't mean Diego is bad by any means, it's just that Tech is pretty good at the game. But of course, Tech is doing a lot of skips here and there. This game has a ton of skips that are pretty difficult to do, and if you fail them, you have to do a whole fight, and that can take minutes of the run. So yeah, this run has a ton of level differences, thanks to the fact that, well, the skips are mandatory if you want a good time, because those skips shave off minutes of time every time. I do believe that both the Subspace Emissary and the World of Light have their strengths and weaknesses, but I do believe that the Subspace Emissary was much better as telling a story with all the characters they used from the game, aside from the World of Light just being very much universal crisis, existential nightmare of all of your favorite characters are now dead. Subspace Emissary just kind of tells more of a story than the World of Light, which is just that we have to defeat this very strong enemy. And of course, but anyways, here we are. Well, the ruins right now. The ruins, it's a very straightforward map too, which has a ton of which has a little traps here and there that make you go different ways. The ruins can be a pretty difficult map if you are not careful. Dio's having trouble with Zelda here. That's a classic Subspace Emissary. The fight with Zelda, it can take an hour. Look, I'm not going to judge World of Light because I'm a speedrunner of World of Light, so I kinda can't. But yeah, Subspace Emissary is a really good mode. And here we have Diego fighting the double battle against Link and Yoshi that had Pete throwing up a Deconut against Diego. Pete being such a friend that he handicapped Diego to not be able to fight for a while. Do you ever lose time to your own teammate in a speedrun game? The ruins have a bunch of autoscrollers too, so don't get too excited of this game. This game actually has a ton of autoscrollers. It's surprised. I mean, I didn't notice how much autoscrollers the game has until I tried speedrunning it for the first time. And yeah, the game has a ton of speedrunners, a ton of autoscrollers. It's funny how Tech is using these doors in the middle of the autoscroller to make the game and finish the autoscroller. That was a damage boost, by the way. You can use damage boost practically everywhere. Nice hit there. Whoa. That was a very good fight. Here we have another autoscroller, which is an autoscroller with fights. It's an autoscroller with a twist. As I said before, there is a bunch of tricks you can use that are pretty difficult to handle. You can actually do a damage boost to fly through the stage by using a tech in the middle of the flight in a very specific angle. Something that you can see more in the task run by Dylan, who is in the chat right now. Yeah, this game, the Subspace Emissary, it's amazing as a speed game. It has a ton of tricks that you wouldn't imagine from a cool game, from a fighting game practically, that made its way to be a platformer too. It's a cool thing to analyze the Subspace Emissary as a game to go fast into. And I have to say that I love how no matter how much time the players have of difference, they are probably going to be in an autoscroller, both of them. They are going to both be in an autoscroller at one point or another. Here we have the fight with Charizard. Charizard can be pretty annoying because, well, it's Charizard. It's a heavy character who wants to do whatever it wants. That's a very awful quirk of the NPCs and enemies on this game, which is that they see an item on the screen and they are going to go get that item, especially if it's something like a Kirby or a star or something like that. And that can make you lose a ton of time because, well, they want to grab the item and the item can make it difficult for you to hit them and especially kill them. But that was the fight with that was Charizard fight. Pretty good. And we are going to see more Meta Knight. Who doesn't want to see more Meta Knight? Meta Knight gliding is one of the best tools of the game. And Tech just flexing there the Meta Knight's down B. Meta Knight down B can be made longer by mashing buttons. That was a pretty fun Charizard. So yeah, here we have some more of the scrollers, and that was a very nice glide. Have to say that was an amazing glide. Those glides are actually pretty difficult. And that movement using Meta Knight's down B. He's trying to do mountain clip, yeah. He's trying to do mountain clip. And he did it, of course. Tech right now has done something called mountain clip. It's an interesting trick that lets you inside the mountain there and it skips the fight that is at the top of the mountain. So congrats for doing something pretty cool actually in the first round of the tournament. This is making me hype for the rest of the tournament right now. Right now there's another match in the SpeedGaming 3 with Valkyrie and SUWC, who are also playing their first match of the tournament. I played mine yesterday with MK Cocoon, and there's going to be another match later. So the tournament is running pretty well right now, and it's going to be a pretty interesting tournament. Also, let's see if more people are interested in running Subspace Emissary. It's an amazing game to speedrun. It's so fun. Okay, Tech is going to do the glide here. He wants to glide through tight spaces, especially if it means he can skip all this area. Yo, that was a very good flight. Diego on the path to the ruins. And here we have the fight with Gallium. Gallium is a boss, which can be pretty annoying. He has a ton of attacks that do a ton of damage and pushes very hard your character. And he doesn't flinch, so yeah. You see, Meta Knights, it's Brawl Meta Knight. It's literally Brawl Meta Knight. We are talking about a character that was banned from tournaments because it was so good. And you can see that here, where he just practically spammed Nair and completely destroyed Galleon. And we're going to do something similar here, because Charizard is actually a pretty good character against bosses. Charizard has a ton of attacks that hit like a truck, and they do tons of damage to enemies. And the launcher there. The launcher is the best item you can get against a boss. It deals damage like crazy. But that was a very good fight of those two fights of Gallium there by Tech. So we're going to use Yoshi for the first part here, and then we are going to activate the next spawn and change to Pit. Meanwhile, Diego is right now going through the ruins. Well, to the path of the ruins. Here we're going to see more gliding by Tech. Pit's gliding, it's a little more difficult to manage than... My god, Tech! And Tech just casually uses a glide from behind the mountain to skip the fight that is after the tunnel. My god, Tech. And we are nearing the end of the stage here. Here we're in the second part of the adventures of Fox and Diddy. Meanwhile, Diego is getting to the end here. He's going to fight Wario right now. Let's see how that goes. Let's see how he beats Wario. Yep, a Wario which can be extremely annoying in more ways than one. Okay, using the bike to hit him. The wheels of the bike. We want to grab Wario near the edge of the screen and throw him up, throw him out. Yeah, I mean, I know, but both Wario and the other fight are pretty annoying. Here we go with an auto-scroller here, which Tech is going to practically completely avoid. There we go. There he's going to use that door to make the auto-scroller go up. And here he's going to use the knowledge of the... Oh! Okay, he died. Not that it matters, but... Yeah, we now have to wait a little bit and we can enter the door. To get to them. And Diego is right now in the cave using Yoshi, normal stuff. And here we have one of the most horrible fights in the whole game. This Gigant Diddy, as well, that was a very good fight by Tech. But Gigant Diddy can be annoying because, well, Gigant enemy. Oh, Diego with the battle log there, grabbing a hammer and the hammer getting out. So yeah, he got the quick kill. What I mean to say is, Gigant enemies in the in Super Smash Bros. Get a boost of power. They hit very hard. And the thing is, Diddy Kong is not the exception. So if you mess up, you are probably going to be in a world of monkey horde. Very nice. Ooh, Diego died and he's now playing with Link, which is probably one of the worst things can happen to you in the speedrun. Having to play as Link. Well, at least he doesn't have that much. Yeah, how awful to have to play with Link. Link is so slow. And he jumps so low. Still having some problems there. Because he's Link. Tech is defeating the enemies here, and there's a lot of fights. Let's just defeat a bunch of enemies. Enemy spawns are defined, so you can actually time them. And you can use one enemy to beat another enemy by hitting him with the enemy. Yeah, if it was Toon Link, everything would be fun. No, it's not Toon Link. It's not Toon Link. It's the bad Link. Here we have the second part of the research facility. The research facility has these enemies that are robs. I didn't explain them the first time we saw them because we saw them like nothing. The robs are annoying enemies because they can hit you pretty hard and pretty quickly. You can evade them, of course, but they still can do a ton of damage. That's the only reason we're using Cersei Samus here. That kick. And here we have the fight against the two Samus clones. These Samus clones are literally Samus, so we can use Pikachu here to kill them quickly with the down B. Pikachu's down B. It's the cheap move. If you have everybody knows someone who plays as Pikachu, and the only thing that person does is using down B. Funnily enough, that is a strategy here. It's a viable strategy to be cheap. Oh, it didn't die! Wow! It refuses to die. And that's not enough either. Samus is a very floaty character, so it's difficult to kill her if it's not really. And she grabbed a star. My god. And I love the fact that the last solution for killing that Samus was using a gun. some Samus here. Meanwhile, Diego is going through the ruins right now. Tech failed the grappling hook there. Well, the grapple lasso. Here we can use Samus' floatiness in our favor. And we want to get into this platform to get to the end. Okay, here is a trick that is actually a little bit difficult to do. What we want to do here is jump on the crate, on the golden crate, use that as a platform to get into the wall, use another wall jump and a double jump to get to this teleporter as fast as possible, and we can get here and we can get up there. That actually saves a ton of time, because if we don't do that, we have to go through the intended path, and sadly the intended path is awful. Here we have the fight with Ridley, who is too big to ever be in a Smash Bros. Game as a playable character, of course, and we only have to beat him. Pikachu is the best option here. Pikachu just really hits hard and has a ton of tools. Samus too, but it's not like... she doesn't hit as fast as Pikachu. Meanwhile, Diego is in the... wow, they got killed by Ridley. Meanwhile, Diego is in the fight with the bunch of enemies before Charizard. Let's see how Charizard behaves for Diego. And Ridley's gone. Nice. That was Ridley. Here we have my favorite cutscene that we skipped, which is the cutscene that Olimar is playing with the pigments with a giant rope, and Captain Falcon appears out of nowhere just to kill the rope and kill a bunch of pigments for no apparent reason. He just does it. I don't know why. He just appears from out of nowhere and completely obliterates a bunch of pigments. Nice. What Tech did there, it's glitch, pause glitch that we have seen him use a ton. The pause glitch kind of moves the camera. The camera, it's actually very important for enemies because enemies die when they are too out of the range of the camera, because the blast zones moves with the camera. So we can kill enemies by not being near them. Sometimes. I don't really understand how pause glitch works. I know it works. And we have a bad Charizard by Diego there. Charizard is just being bad. Tech dying there, but doesn't matter because, well, he's now Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong is the best character for multi-man melee, specifically because he has a down B. More metal primids that die very fast if you use down B. And that's it. That was the bunch of enemies. Diego having problems with Charizard there. And here we have the best remake of Ice Climbers ever developed. The Glacial Peak. Or the Ice Peak, I don't remember. And here we're going to use Meta Knight's double S capabilities to just fly the stage and go up and up and up and up and up. Diego got hit by Mega Amiga there. Nice. This stage is another autoscroller. As I said before, this game has a bunch of autoscrollers. It doesn't mean that the game is not fun to run, even if it has a ton of autoscrollers, but I'm still waiting for the day that someone actually makes the autoscrollers not be there, to just see how much time it takes to go to the whole game without those autoscrollers. Sadly, the only thing I know about modding Brawl is put Timmy Turner in the chair of Ness. I don't know. There was no fighting an enemy that Tech didn't fight because Tech did the mountain clip. Diego didn't, so Diego needs to fight this enemy up here. An Armang, who is a very annoying enemy. I have to say, it's my least favorite enemy in the whole subspace. I'm also waiting for an SEC randomizer. SEC just has so much potential. I don't know why nobody actually tried to mod it. Well, it's understandable. The thing that really people want to mod is the main game and the fights and adding things. But I mean, people have added practically everyone into this game, and they have made practically everything a stage. I don't know why nobody actually tries to mod the randomizer in any way or capacity. Like, I'm pretty sure you can run Doom completely in a fight in Brawl. So I don't get it. Tech failed there the quick kill of Lucario, but they still got it pretty fast. Lucario can get annoying, but not really that difficult. And here we have an stage that is literally just defeat a bunch of enemies. I love that enemy that just says that just enters laughing. Diego dying on the right there, having to use Ike, who is pretty much a fate worse than dead in this run. Diego got to Galleon. Tech is fighting the bunch of enemies here. That fire primate didn't want to die. Here Tech wants to defeat those gyros, those glides. I think those are called gliders. I think those are called gliders. Yeah, I think those are gliders. The electric ones are glunder, and the ice ones are glides. I think. I kind of remember the names of the enemies sometimes. I completely forget them. Got it. Nice. Yeah, he wanted to hit those. And here it is, the Dakos. One of the fun things about Brawl that never came back is the Dakus, which is making a dash attack and cancelling it with an up smash. That is actually one of the fastest way of moving with Snake, which makes it pretty fun because Snake is a pretty cool character. Okay, this is a pretty interesting trick. Very difficult to do, actually. Okay, Tech failed. That's a pretty difficult trick. It basically skips all this area where you have to defeat these portals and press these buttons. Because we're now playing Metal Gear. This is something that I really like about the Subspace Emissary, that the World of Light kind of tried to replicate, but didn't really did that much that well, which is try to grab the main idea behind a game and try to replicate it using the Super Smash Bros. Brawl pool of enemies and stages and characters and gameplay mechanics. I find it pretty cool. Like when you play with Samus, is practically a Metroidvania kind of game, an homage to Metroid. The fight with Charizard is a reference to Pokemon. This part is a complete reference to Metal Gear, things like that. It's a cool concept that I'm sad they never tried to replicate. Because the Subspace Emissary just ceased existing. Diego finishing this stage. There is a skip at the end of the stage. Let's see if he tries it. Diego doesn't really do that much skips, because most of the skips require gliding. And the thing is, Diego is right now playing on emulator, and worse, playing on keyboard. So you can imagine that gliding is a little bit difficult for him. Okay, he's not even going to try to skip that fight. Nice Nagagok there. Nagagok, as I said before, can be pretty annoying if you don't kill it. If you don't kill it before it starts growing. Here we have the fight against the princesses, Zelda and Peach. As every other fight against a particular enemy, which is a normal fight of the game, RNG is abundant, so we have to try to keep them in the side of the stage to kill them quickly. But that was a very nice fight for Techstrobe. So we keep going to the Halabarda. This time we're going to use Cheek various abilities to move around. Oh, nice. These bombs can be very annoying too. These bombs, everywhere they appear, they are annoying for me, because I kind of always get hit by them. Diego entering the swamp. Diego is getting near the Gigant Diddy Kong fight. Fun fact: there is an enemy in that room that is in a test tube down in the down part of the room, who was supposed to be an enemy you fight in the game, but it never actually appears. But for some reason, it has a trophy. You can get a trophy of that enemy even if it appears only once in the whole subspace. Well, aside from the fun facts, we can see that now that Diego is getting near the auto-scroller here and getting close to the fight with Gigant Diddy Kong. Let's see how he does that. Well, Tech is just going through the rest of the halberd. The halberd interior. And now the exterior. Because this is completely safe, by the way. Just running around on the outside of a flying carrier battleship. I don't know. Okay, here we have the fight with Duon. This is a boss that can get pretty annoying. Duon can be very difficult to handle. But we can see that Tech is just punching him very fast. Snake is a very good character in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. If I'm not mistaken, it was the second best character in the game, just behind Meta Knight. It had the disjointed hitboxes and everything. It was a very good character. And the box that actually hit people. Here we have the next part of the Subspace Bomb Factory. I believe this is the quick one. Nice clip there. I believe this is the quick one. Yeah, this is the quick one. This stage is pretty small. The only reason it's kind of a full stage is because you can get lost on it, and it's as I said before, trying to replicate a Metroidvania kind of experience. Yeah, I mean it's trying to kind of replicate a Metroidvania kind of experience where you have to go one side or another to find the exit. But it's pretty fast when you know exactly where to go. Like a Metroidvania! And here we have Diego having a lot of problems with Diddy Kong, with Gigant Diddy Kong. He has gotten hit once, and there we go. That was a very, not the best, but that was a very good Diddy Kong anyways, because Diddy Kong can be difficult to handle. They're going through Bomb Space Factory 2, if I'm not mistaken. This is the 2. And yeah, this stage has a ton of rooms, has a ton of space, and has one of the dumbest auto-scrollers ever for me. Like, why the hell this is an auto-scroller? Why? It's literally just 3 platforms. 3 rotating platforms at that. Why is an auto-scroller? Like, it's an useless auto-scroller. But there is an even worse auto-scroller in concept, which comes later. Which for me is the it shouldn't be an auto-scroller. It doesn't make sense. Okay, here we have a kind of a puzzle. We have to hit those 3 buttons to activate the door. There is a button on there is a button up, there is a button on the left, and there is a button on the right. Funny enough, we have to do that again on the Great Maze later. Another thing that I kind of find funny is the fact that at the beginning, especially in the beginning, like they throw you a boss fight in the 3rd fight, and then they throw you Rayquaza and Porky side by side, and Ridley in the middle, and then they wait a lot to throw you Duan, and then they wait a lot and they throw you Meadow Ridley. Like, they didn't have any problem on putting 2 boss fights practically side to side. And here we have one of my favorite cutscenes in the game. The cutscene where Rob decides he needs to be a good robot. I have to say, when I didn't even know what a Rob was, but when I saw the Ancient Minister just burning and revealing Rob there, I was like, whoa, this guy is amazing. I want a toy of him. Nice, nice mushroom there. Really useful to defeat those Nagagogs. Captain Falcon is one of the best characters you can use here. You can use Donkey Kong too, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, that was a very good Armang. Let's see if the other one behaves. Yeah. Okay, that was some very good Armangs. And here we play as Rob to go up here. And this skips an autoscroller that this is the autoscroller that I think shouldn't exist. Like, why is there two autoscrollers here when you are supposed to be escaping from an imminent death? Like why? It's like, no, you have all the time in the world to go through these autoscrollers as slow as possible while running, trying to escape certain death. But then when you are fighting Meadow Ridley on a flying machine, you are running against the clock. It's like, why? This should have been an escape sequence. I would have loved if this would have been an escape sequence. A timer on top and you just have to get to the end as fast as possible. But no, they decided to put autoscrollers there because fake difficulty. It's great. Here we have the fight with Meadow Ridley. Meadow Ridley is a very interesting boss. You fight him in a flying machine and he flies with you. He has a ton of attacks. One of them is actually a one-hit kill, which is the one where he like punches the I always forget the name of this chip. But with Captain Falcon chip, he like punches it into the lower blast zone, and if you don't jump, it's literally you die. Diego defeated the Samus clones, now getting up to the end of the stage here. And here we have Subspace. Subspace is the last two stages of the game. Well, the last three stages of the games are before the Great Maze. Subspace is one stage where you can choose any of the characters you have gotten from the story at this point. There is a bunch of them. And of course we're going to pick Meta Knight because, well, Meta Knight is Meta Knight. It's completely broken. The next one is the stage where you have to use either Luigi, Ness, or King Dedede, which is the stage we have to grab some trophies of characters we want to use for the during the Great Maze and the battle with the final boss. Good job, Diego, there, getting the early platform there. And here we have another one of the skips that I told before, the gliding skips with Meta Knight. This skip, it's not really that intuitive. You can skip with one gliding. You can either skip all of the fights, or you can get to the second or third fight and then go back to activate the one before that. So what Tech did was getting all the way to the third fight you have to do here, then go back to activate the other first two fights, and then he went back because when you activate another fight that overlays the hitbox, you practically despawn the fight. And here we have the first one of the two stages where you are practically saving people. The main idea is that you are playing here as either Ness, Luigi, King Dedede, or Kirby in the next stage, and you have to grab all the characters you wanna use in the last level of the game. Lucas is gone. Okay, there is certainly something funny about seeing Ness completely abandon Lucas while the Lucas dead body is being taken by Bird. Well, anyways, Tech is grabbing here Pokemon Trainer because we want Charizard. Donkey Kong 2 because it's a very good character against Taboo. Mart. No Captain Falcon. Interesting. I always grab Captain Falcon for some reason. By the way, you can use 6 characters in the fight against the final boss, and funnily enough, you will always have 6 characters for the final fight of the final boss. Even if you don't rescue anyone in any of the subspace levels, you will have King Dedede, Luigi, Ness, Bowser, and Kirby. And in the end of the game, you get Sonic. So you will always have 6 characters. Still doing the fight here. Captain Falcon grabbing Meta Knight because that's important. If we want to go fast, we have to go Meta Knight. Here we have a fight. Pretty weak fight, to be honest. We have one of those guys, and we have an auto-scroller, of course. What will it be of Super Smash Bros. Brawl without the auto-scrollers? The pause glitch there. Nice. Diego entering the glacial peak, where he's going to use Meta Knight to go up the mountain. And Tech is almost done with the third and last subspace stage before the Great Maze. Luckily for us, the enemies can grab stars, the common enemies of the game, because normal fighters can grab stars and they can take a ton of time. And here we have with the Great Maze, El Gran Laberinto, and we are going to just go through it. We have to defeat every single fighter in the game except for Toonling, Wolf, and Jigglypuff. And we have to defeat every single boss we already defeated, and practically every single boss from the game aside from Master Hand and Crazy Hand, which are exclusive to the classic mode. While we do that of defeating every single character and boss we already defeated, including two different iterations of Ridley, we have to go through a mix-up of practically every single stage we have visited for now. That gliding, my god. Tech is amazing at gliding with Meta Knight. And actually, Meta Knight's up B is a pretty good attack to defeat enemies quickly. As I said before, you have to go through renditions of all the stages we have visited through the subspace and defeat enemies and defeat the fighters. From around that time, I mean, now we defeated Link and we enter the stage that resembles the forest. So there is a bunch of characters that do something similar. They're getting mixed up there. Aside from a part full of water, I think everything is covered in the game. So yeah, we have to change these doors to get to this, which is the fight with Yoshi. Meanwhile, Diego is fighting his way up to the top of the mountain, where he's going to fight with Lucario. The Great Maze has a very specific layout and some tricks actually you can do to take less time getting every single character. You can, for example, if you visited a room, you can get out of the stage and then go back and enter those rooms, those save rooms you can find in different parts of the map. There are 4 main save rooms, which are this is one of them, those with the orange doors. Those are main save rooms where you can save, change character, teleport to another one, and you can use that as your, and you can use that to get out of the subspace and then re-enter and choose one of them to keep going. That is something that Tech is going to use because for some characters you go so far from the main path, it's faster to reset the subspace than going all the way back. And resetting also has the benefits of healing you. So there is things to gain from resetting. Diego is in the fight in the Grand Canyon. And here it is. Here what Tech's doing is getting out of the Subspace Emissary and re-entering it. To go back and appear here. Tech is going to choose Charizard here because this is a fight against a boss. And Charizard is pretty good against bosses. The reason why Charizard is amazingly good to fighting bosses is because Charizard Side V, which is the rock, it's Rock Smash, has a hitbox on the rock and in the smaller rocks that it generates after using the Side Smash. So it's pretty fast for defeating bosses. It chips damage like crazy. Here we are going for Snake, and then we are grabbing Mr. Game & Watch, if I'm not mistaken. The Gigant Primate here. Some of the last enemies Diego has to defeat here. You can see that the Primates have an eyeball for a face. That's because primates change their face texture sometimes. I believe it's each time you boot up the subspace, the faces change, but I don't really understand what makes the faces change. But it's a funny detail that they have different face textures. Enough with the fun facts, let's keep going. Here we're going to grab Game & Watch. Yeah, Game & Watch. Meanwhile, Diego is doing the Metal Gear portion of the interior of the battleship Halberd. Nice flight. Very nice flight there. Take defeating Meta Knight here. Luckily for us, the AI Meta Knight is not as strong as the common Meta Knight. Ooh. Diego just has to press one more button. Meanwhile, Tech is in the Ruined Zoo part of the Great Maze. Here he's going to get Lucas. No, I don't think Lucas is here. Yeah, it's Ness. You grab Ness here, and then you defeat Porky. Lucas is in the ruins part. Now I remember correctly. Yeah, we now have to go all the way back to the Ruined Zoo. This time we are not being followed by a statue, which is cool. And here we have Porky fight. Porky, it's, as I said before, a fight that can go pretty well or pretty bad, all depending on what Porky does. He has some moves that can get pretty annoying, but great Porky fight, nothing to say there. And here's one of the two guardians of the final boss, Taboo, which are the two enemies that protect the entrance to Taboo. And practically in the casual game, you enter here and you learn, oh, I need to defeat every single one to enter. He and Ganondorf are the two guardians, so we have to defeat. We are going to defeat the Ganondorf at the end to get access to the other door. That way we can enter Taboo as fast as possible. Diego on the fight with the two princesses, having trouble as I can see. Not grabbing the... Oh, it was a small mushroom. I thought it was a big mushroom. I didn't see the coloration very well from here. Nice up B. Diego having a ton of trouble with the princesses right now. Nice. They're just going through They're just going through to the Great Maze like nothing. I believe this part is not anywhere in the game. I believe, I don't quite remember it. The watery kind of, here's where you grab the Gravity Suite Metroid part. There's one button left, and at the side of the button here, next to the button, is the door to rob. That was a very nice drop. Nice. And here we go for the fight with Ridley, I mean. We have to fight both iterations of Ridley from the game. We have to fight Ridley and Meadow Ridley. Of course, Meta Knight's Nair, it's pretty good to fight characters like Ridley. Diego is getting near the fight with Duan. Tech healing Meta Knight there. As the name implies, the Great Maze is certainly a maze. So, before getting amazed by the sheer size of the map, we can actually plan where to go in a specific way, so we can get as much characters as possible without having to repeat much paths. Casually, this place was a nightmare when I was a kid. That is something I have to say though. I got lost so much in here like when I was a kid. Here we have another minecart section. Cool stuff. Diego getting right to the side of the fight with Duan on the Battleship Halber Bridge. Nice fight with King D there. And here we go with Diego fighting Duan. Let's see how that goes. And Diego died. Well, Lucario, it's actually a pretty good character, but the main gimmick of Lucario doesn't really help in the fight with Duan. Lucario hits harder if he has more damage. Nice fox fight for Tech there. Tech has like half the characters right now in the Great Maze. Diego defeated Duan. Good there. Got Mr. Game & Watch. And here we have Meadow Ridley, the other fight. Funny enough, in this version of the fight we don't have the timer. In the main version of the fight we have to fight against a timer. And Meadow Ridley is gone. Meadow Ridley leaves us right behind the door that we haven't entered yet, so that's a very good route to get a circle around. and get back here to defeat Mario. Okay, good flight there. Meanwhile, Diego is going through the research bomb facility too. I mean, the bomb factory too. Research bomb facility. Research bomb. What the hell is a research bomb? The key sitting there in tech. Galleon fight with 122 of percentage of damage. That's interesting. The hit there. Nice. That was a very good Galleon. 193 percentage of damage. Luckily for us, here's a save where we can heal. Diego finishing the auto scroller, getting close to the big fight here in this stage. He's now in the in the puzzle of the door. While Tech is in the ruins part of the Great Maze. Nice. That was fast. Here we have another spot where we use the save to get out of the subspace and re-enter in a different spot. Diego getting to the big fight of the subspace bomb factory too. They're getting close to the end here. He needs to go through the fights of the... He needs to go through all the fights that lead him back into the stadium, the mid-air stadium. Wood. That Luigi is difficult to find casually. The only indicator something is down there, it's the fact that it's a platform that is that you can barely see. I do kind of find it funny that Luigi is like there, like in the middle of nowhere, in like down there. Diego, it's fighting the Armangs right now, the double Armang, the Knee of Justice 3 time. That nice knee there. Well, Tech is fighting Rayquaza. Diego choosing Rob. Failing the skip, I think. Yeah, failing the skip. Diego failed the skip there. He tried to get it, but he failed the skip. And Tech is going right now for the last couple of characters that he needs to get before finishing, before getting to the fight with Taboo. And Lucas gone. Going up this part is difficult. Meanwhile, Diego is doing the auto-scroller here. Nice job. Tech defeated Lucario, now he can go back. And he's only needing to fight Ice Climbers, Ike, Mart, and Ganondorf, if I'm not mistaken. Nice flight there. Straight to the... Yeah, straight to the ball there. Tech barely missing both of those things. Ooh, Tech barely missed the chance to enter that trap and enter the door before it closed. Eyeball premits on Tech's screen right now. And here we have the last boss fights before Subspace in DiegolazoR's stream, with the fight with Meadow Ridley. Nice mashing. And this is Mart, and Tech now only needs to defeat Ganondorf, and he's done. He can go fight Taboo. Tech is amazing gliding. And Diego is now about to defeat Meadow Ridley. Ganondorf doing Ganondorf things there. And that's it. Diego entering the subspace and Tech leaving the Great Maze to fight with Taboo. So here we have Taboo. Again, we are going to use Charizard's Side B a lot. It's an amazing attack against Taboo. Whoa, a Mushroom. A Mushroom in the fight against Taboo. And that's it. Tech has defeated Taboo and has won the race. Tech is done. Tech has finished with a time of 1:50:18 according to race time and according to his timer. I mean, 1:50:18 according to race time and 1:50:15 according to his timer. GG's to Tech for being the winner of the race. This is the Super Smash Bros. Brawl tournament Subspace Emissary here in SpeedGaming Live, and one of the tournaments that is running right now. Pretty interesting one, to be honest. Subspace Emissary is a very interesting thing to watch, especially at high level. Like Tech, who is the current world record for this category, so imagine. And yeah, I'm over. So yeah, GG's to Tech. So yeah, GG's to Tech being the winner of the match. This leaves, if I'm not mistaken, this leaves Tech with let me report the match. This leaves Tech on winner semis, and the Hoyos fell down to losers round 1. This is a bracket with double elimination, by the way. Diego, meanwhile, is doing the third subspace stage right now. Grabbing the bunch of characters he needs to grab. Well, it seems that we don't really have that much time right now for waiting up until Diego finishes his run. So you can go watch Diego at his channel. There is a command for that. Let me use it. You can go watch Diego at his channel while he finishes the run. It will take a little longer, so you can just go there. If you want to see him go through the whole the entirety of the subspace and the Great Maze. And again, GG's to Tech, who hasn't answered me about a post-race interview, but that's cool. We had a very nice race. The results are already in. And as I said before, this is going to be a very interesting tournament, especially later. Right now we have the match of Suosi and Calgary on the SpeedGaming 3 channel. I believe it's still not done. I haven't checked. And we have Ovid versus Dobby 1 later today. So imagine. And with that, we have all of the matches for the first round completed. That leaves semifinals and losers rounds to be done. So there is still a good chunk of tournament. So So yeah, Tech doesn't really want to be in an interview right now, saying he wants to leave it to the finals. That's Tech for you. And well, that's it. I guess we should have Final Fantasy now. Final Fantasy Randomizer, if I'm not mistaken. So we should be off stream soonish. So anyways, thanks for watching the race, I guess. Yeah, so that's it for now. We are almost at the time for Final Fantasy Randomizer. So thank you everyone for watching the race. I hope you liked it, and I hope you watched any other race that appears soon. I leave you with the guys for Final Fantasy, and that was me doing the commentary for the race. My name is Just Call Me Gio, and I hope you liked it. I'm sorry for my bad English, but anyways. Techstrobe and DiegolazoR4 are the channels for the runners. You can check them now in the chat. And that's it. Have a good one.